In section 6.4 you learn about how both the river and its valley change in the lower course. The case study here is River Wharfe, and it is shown here, and by the time the River Wharfe has reached its lower course, the difference with its upper course are really obvious. The river, once narrow with waterfalls, is now wide and deep, flowing over a gentle gradient. Its meanders are large, the volume of water is also larger, and there is a wide flat floodplain. Besides the river there are embankments. These can be either natural or artificial and are known as levees. A picture here is provided. Natural levees form beside the river's bank where it first floods. As the river reaches a bankfall, which is before it spills onto the floodplain, it deposits sand and clay particles where the flow is slower. These build up beside the river as a bank. Artificial levees are built by engineers to protect farms or towns from flooding. These are common in the UK along rivers like the Severn, where flooding is common, and along some of the world's giant rivers, like the Mississippi in the USA. The Ouse River, joined by the Wharfe, eventually joins the Humber and forms an estuary, where the river meets the sea. Two directions of flow take place here. Outwards by the river, taking water out to sea, and inwards by incoming high tides. Twice a day, incoming tides meet the outgoing river and the flow stops, forcing the river to deposit sediment. This forms a broad wide area where the river deposits mud, hence named mudflats, and an example of a mudflat is shown here. Because the estuary is tidal, submerged by the sea twice a day, salt marsh plants have to be able to stand salt water as well as fresh. Salt marshes are valuable for wildlife. Migrating birds use them to shelter during stormy weather, and the mud is rich in shellfish and worms, but salt marshes are under threat from ports and industry. In conclusion, there are two kinds of changes that occur during the upper, middle and lower courses of a river. There are changes in the long profile of the river, as this diagram shows. The long profile is just the way that the gradient of the river changes from its upper to lower course. Put simply, it's steep in upland areas and gentle in the lowlands. The other kind of change is a change in the cross profile, also known as the valley shape. And put simply, the valley is V-shaped in the upper course and almost flat by the lower course, as this diagram shows. And finally, the Bradshaw model summarizes the changes to river characteristics from source to mouth down the long profile. A few features increase downstream, and these are river discharge, channel width, channel depth, velocity and sediment load volume, and 3 decrease, sediment particle size, channel bed roughness and the slope angle.